Hello. Welcome. Oh, is that already? Hold on. Test 1 2 1 1 2. Okay, that's good. That is good. I mean, I know I don't really have to test the short and long wavelengths, so I don't really need to do 1 2, but it's just something that you can say out of habit when testing, so you don't have to think about stuff to ramble on, just so you've got something to test by. Soon, yes. Hello, Kangafango. Hello, favorite orthodontist shout out. What do you mean, orthodontist? Birds, well, most birds don't have teeth anymore. I don't think that an orthodontist would find a lot of work nowadays, now because of that reason. Hello. It's a successful test. Orthodontist. Yeah. Okay, so it's a tough economy. Yeah, I know. I know. Why would you choose such a profession in that case? Talk about the Doctor Who Doctor 13 finale as a mic test. You can do that if you wish. I won't stop you. Right. You tell me. See, Albastro wants you to tell them about the Doctor Who finale from the last season. Well, the latest season. Yeah. Now that I've had a few days break from this project, obviously, and I'm coming back to it. This does look fairly small as a park. I think maybe it would be good if I extended it that way, maybe threefold or something, because I don't want it to be square, I do want it to be elongated, so if I extended it this way threefold to about there and go back, I think that might be good. I'm not streaming today. That's okay, you don't have to be. Entertain people in chat by talking about Doctor Who. New game, Who DLS? DLS? I mean, sure, what do you want me to look for on the DLS? I don't know, because that's about 675 feet. So let's just round it off to 700, which means so 1400 would be about there, and then 2100 is the next one. So actually, let's do 20.5 there. Oh, that's actually exactly that. 2050.0. That should be threefold. Yes. 500. Already tried that. There aren't any old assets. D-I-Z-we. You've heard of the Fiat 500. Get ready for Fiat 1000. I'm sorry, you're making a 2,100 meter park? No, feet, not meter. It's feet. That's a bit long. Not impossible, but it looks huge already. Central Park in New York City is 3 kilometers in length. Yeah, it's like, the way I'm picturing it is, so it's feet, not meters. If I put, if I want to put high-rise buildings along the edge of this, and if I put them back here, then that's going to give us a really nice skyline. I'm just going to put another one of this group back here, but Slovak Eagle said these aren't great because they've got unnecessarily high amounts of polygons because they are a Sketchfab asset or something. But yeah, if you've got the station here and then you've got the buildings back there, imagine that skyline going along there for a bit and then at the edge of the park coming back around to meet us over here. Or, as opposed to that, we can move these closer to here, and then we've got those big buildings right there. Which do you prefer, Kango? Do you think it would look better like this, as is the park size, and have the big buildings coming around this edge, or to have the big buildings all the way back there and then coming around there and coming back in here? That's not an answer. Better taxi service inside the park. With yellow golf carts? So the park would have an L shape? No. It would just be a rectangle going all the way back there. If not, what would be between? What do you mean? What do you mean, what would be between? Basically, what I'm asking is, should the park be this size, or should the park go basically up to there, like that, instead? You want me to increase the size of the park? Okay, well, let's try it. To about there. I guess I'll use another ruler here. So I was thinking about the Minecraft stream series, and I was coming up with new ideas of what I want to do back in the vanilla world as well, when we do switch over, and some fun things we could do and build. Is that the right spot? I think it is, yes. I think that's a grand idea. Oh, do intrigue us, please. I think I'm already intriguing you if you're asking to know what it is. Is there a rough set date for moving, or will it just be a case of someone saying, right, it's time? Well, the first thing that needs to happen is that 1.20 needs to release. And then we'll need to see how stable that is. And I want a water feature as well. And then, well, then I guess we'll make a list of projects that people are working on and that people would like to still complete in the world, that we're currently in the modded world. And then once that's all done, then we'll move over. Also, of course, Minehut needs to actually update their service to allow 1.20 servers, but I don't think that would take too long. I meant to do -1. There we go. I hope that answers your question. Well, the 1.20 update needs to release first. And then when everyone says yay, we'll perform what's professionally known as a switch. Ha! Too long. Aren't tutus supposed to be short? Isn't that the whole point? That they're short to the point of going out sideways? Few hills too? Perhaps. You tell me. What, about Doctor Who, you mean? Or about Thomas the Tank Engine, or... You want to hear about Star Trek, right? I'll tell you about Star Trek. Long tutu. Few else too, maybe. I'm not the one streaming. No, not Star Trek. Load X. Should have done it when MHU was here. I'm powering through on no sleep, so that will make me hit today. Star Trek isn't that boring. Oh, Shadow of Khan. Hello. Read that as powdering through at first. Ha. Right. Also, you have a hay bed? You're really making me want to bike on those dirt paths, even though I've barely ever used one RL. I was following a tractor with hay, and with the amount that fell off, hey, it's possible. I'll be back in 5, sorry. Well, that's 1, sorry, now we just need 4 more. Barely know the basics of Summit. Okay, so... no, I'll have this offset, because I was going to have this path just continuing on straight like that. However, that's not really very safe. If there pushes around and people are biking on here, people would just be racing across that. And that's not very safe. However, if I offset it a bit like this, then people will have to slow down and turn and come in. And so that's a bit safer for people walking on the main path. Oh, sorry. Not sorry. Oh, that's too many. No, now we need to start over. Oh, brilly idea. Brilly idea. Had one. Oh, you had a brilly idea. Just have it cross over as normal, but add crossing boards as an Easter egg. Nah. I'm not too fond of that idea. Okay, we'll have a little connection there to the outside world. No, not a bridge. Bridge, maybe. Have the bikers struggle a bit? Nah. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's plenty of entrance-exit points. By the way, yes, this is an official preview to what it will be like when we play City Skylines with the Parks and Plazas DLC. Because in that you do build the parks and plazas as... well, the parks as districts, basically, where you define the boundaries with a fence and then you build the actual paths through it and place down entrances and exits, and you can put down attractions and like toilets and stuff like that, and then you can level up the park and unlock more stuff to put in. And there are different kinds of parks in that as well. You've got just the normal city parks, you've got the amusement parks, you've got the wildlife preserve park, like a national park type thing, and you've also got zoos, but I probably won't be using those. See, if you look at the park now, then having it just be that little stripe there now looks much smaller, doesn't it? Just fill in the park with a tool. True, could have done that. You can put down attractions like toilets and things like that. Yes. I mean, if you need to go to the bathroom, wouldn't you be attracted to a toilet? Yeah, attracted as in pulled towards it. The same way that you're attracted to food when you're hungry or water when you're thirsty. There we go. That looks alright. Needs more hills. At the moment it just looks like a flooded football pitch with paths. Well, yeah, but if this whole area is so flat anyway, then... do you mean hills that have been constructed there by people? Or do you mean natural hills? Artificial hills? I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced by that idea. Right, sorry about that, I'm back. Sure. I believe you. Well, I believe part of that. No, I don't know. Maybe a little bit here. Maybe this was like in the Victorian era, maybe this was a landfill and they now made it into a park, and the hills are what once were the garbage heaps. Actually, that's another game I haven't played. Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. Sewer Acres Park. No, not sewer. Um, um, park designer put them there. No worries. You'll look loads. Park will look loads more interesting with hills. True, but I'm not sure if it's that realistic. Otherwise, although it could be like an old dump. Definitely. Got the perfect name for the park. No, I don't think so. Well, you should. It's a classic. I've got it on Steam. Scrap your acres. Can I meet you Discord? Blumtish. Yeah, next time I shall suspect both of you equally when I hear those sounds on Discord. Okay, well, let's start decoring. Let's start rating. That looks nice. Have I turned on the... I don't know if I've turned on the... I have not. I need to turn that on. The filters, I mean. Not sure about that. I want you to be able to see the lake through there, so I might restrict the trees over to this side like that. Because then you can still look through and see the lake. Quick. I cannot tab out, OMG. Well, you might have it on a different device. Just a little mobile phone, just a tap away. Just heard an owl. Maybe a few of these around this side here, just add a little bit more variety. Okay, just need to find the correct objects. And then hope they don't object. Perhaps a few of these. How does that look? No, they stand out too much. That doesn't work there. Maybe over here. just to create a little bit more of a shielded area for people who want to have a picnic over here, the view of the lake. If it wasn't evident before, I do fully believe you with that. Although the deceptive lies from the other end were a smidge misleading, if I do say so myself. I don't know how Mac does it, but for me I have to Shift Tab, then Windows key, then move the mouse in what is essentially no space. Then find Discord, then click Soundboard, and then reverse back. On Mac, it's literally just you press and hold Command, press Tab, and then you release, and then you can click on wherever you want, and then Command Tab, and then go back in. So on Mac it is quite easy. So hold on, why is that? Pages shouldn't be running. There we go. What's this done? I was in the VC, not on PC. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to hear you. Aw. I mean, you cannot be trusted. Give them the boot. Boat? I think they're fine without one. I say, yeah, I could not have tabbed out of ATS to do anything else while driving. Well, not while driving, no. Because I use mouse steering, it would be quite likely to reset the cursor position when I tab back in, making the truck veer to the side and quite possibly tip over, not to mention cause considerable damage to the exterior hull of the engine and engineering. But yeah, that was another thing. When you drove down into the ditch, the thought did cross my mind that maybe you were looking on the soundboard to play a file when you crashed in. Although that was just a thought. But you have to admit, playing funny sounds that are appropriate for jokes in the stream does sound like a fun sort of thing that you would do. Don't you think? It does sound a bit like you, though. For me, it just takes too long that I wouldn't be able to quickly in and out. True. Which is annoying. Beautiful foliage shadows. Maybe some blackberry bushes too. Maybe. Phone booths. Almost is very easy in and out. Payphones? I don't know. Oh, I think Windows has something similar, but I haven't a clue. I think it might be Alt. But I said I was in the VC on the PC. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Bit tired. No, I went in the ditch because my keyboard is nowhere near my screen, so I cannot text and drive well. Did you see my diagram? I did, yeah. It sounds like me. Oh, that's it. Yeah, see, that's why it was so believable. Because, I mean, yeah. Basically. That is what made it so believable. And then I'll just have a few of these taller trees around there to provide a little bit of shade for those who would rather not sit in the baking sun while having a picnic. Oh, that's it. Good. I wonder if that'll work with ETS. Well, we can only try. Should do. I'm always well behaved. Well, you do always behave. That is true. I wonder if there are any apiaries I could potentially put here. Or if that's a sort of thing that might work well here. because I know that in some parks they do put apiary, like beehives, in certain places to try to push pollination. Alright. Though I've only ever had ETS2 installed on Windows when I had to update my Singular Bus repaint to the upload my Singular Bus repaint to the Steam Workshop. Arga ha 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 ha! Why can't SES just release the SES Workshop tools on macOS 2? Modders on macOS, we do exist, you know. That is probably not lies. So, yeah, about update and upload, yeah. Usually, with Minecraft, they've got updates that release on Wednesday afternoon. Well, afternoon here in the UK. And yesterday, there was no update, no snapshot. However, the first Bedrock beta of 1.20 released, which to me indicates that they are now quite far into the development process. I mean, we know that the update has been feature complete for a little while now, like big feature complete, which means that if they are now actively testing the Bedrock port, probably won't take too long for it to actually, for us to get the first pre-releases, and then the release. And all for free. All these updates are free. I would love to make an update to Living Art with another stage, but well, kind of have to put the time into new projects currently. Plus it would be, I think, really hard to actually fit a new stage into the story of Living Art. I guess I could have it be another thing like this, the fourth stage, where it's accessible through another stage, but then, yeah, that's also maybe would be a little bit difficult to actually implement. I think maybe some apple trees would look nice in there. Just multiple. To which one I used? Alright, before I didn't read that, sorry. There were 2 long messages. Doesn't the paint job tool have a unit? Doesn't the paint tool have it built in? It's been a while since I used it. It was I was tempted to make a custom repaint for convoys, but I'm not creative enough. Of course you're creative enough. It's just, the question is just motivation. But of course you're creative enough. Let me just quickly find. Actually, I guess it was number 1. There we go, just a few apple trees on this hill as well. So now in the summer when the apples are ripe, you can come in here and then walk up onto the hill and grab an apple and look out onto the lake while you are sitting in the nice cool shade. And the smog drifts across your nose. Because I've only made... I've got my whole ETS2 ATS installations on macOS, as the games themselves support it. But to upload stuff to the workshop, you need to use the SES Workshop tools, which are only available on Windows. And these tools need a copy of ETS2 or ATS, depending, installed in order to function. Not to my knowledge, although there are multiple. Ah, I see. Not sure which one I used. Nonsense! No! What? How do you say... not sure which one I used. Nonsense! Like, how do you know that that would be nonsense? You could have put the Mac Anthem in your Voynich livery. I'm not sure it would suit it. There is one called Mod Studio 2. I may have used that. I did originally do a Fellows Film livery, and that was horrible. I mean, that's just a sample size of 1. Only one way to find out. Well, maybe you could trial it on paper. I will possibly have a shot if I get some free time, which will be rare now. Aww. If you're interested, it is up to you, of course, but it does sound fun. Somewhere I have a mock-up template to digitally work on. Shadows. Oh, I would suggest between 1 and 2, like what happened between the museum and the forest. There isn't... Oh, I see how that's meant. Yeah, sorry, I originally thought you meant like what happened between the museum and the forest, as in you would suggest to me that I use what happened between the museum and the forest as an example. But of course, nothing really happened between those two places, so that's why I was a little confused. But yeah, that's one option. That is one option. To have like a city stage out, so you exit the museum and then you go through the city and then you go back in. But I guess it really largely depends on 2 factors. No, not 2-factor authentication. That is annoying and horrible and I don't like it, but it is sometimes necessary for important things. Anyway, what I meant was, like, the 2 factors are what gameplay elements I would want. So, like, for example, if I want moving platforms, just as an example, then maybe something on, I don't know, something on an alien ship or station or something like that might fit a little bit better. Also, do I like those big trees bordering that or not? Because if you look through there, actually, yeah, I guess that's good. Whereas if I want, although I suppose I could still do that with a city, if there are like construction sites and cranes moving around, you can like hop onto the... Actually, that'd be an idea, having a more vertical stage. Although that wouldn't really work that well with how the camera works in that game, because the camera is static. Going vertical isn't ideal in a lot of situations. But anyway, yeah. There are places where to fit it in. The second factor is, of course, lore. Because, I mean, Living Art, like all of the games that I start, and most of which I haven't finished, does have significant amounts of lore for my world, because my games, at least thus far, are either all designed to take place in the same world or fit into the same world somehow. But with Living Art specifically, there is quite a bit of lore there, and if I did add another stage, I would want to expand on that lore. And so that is an important chapter, an important factor. That's the one I wanted to use, the word I wanted to use, an important factor as well. So, yeah. Where was I? Somewhere. All right. A city stage with moving platforms, traffic vehicles, and such. Maybe scaffolding lifts. Since I love this park, thank you. Was defo a brilliant idea to expand it? Phyllis from, yeah. Sorry for the confusion. Oh. Two-factor authentication is good, but can be so slow. Yeah, it's just, especially if you don't normally have a mobile telephone handy, yes, pun intended, it can be really very annoying. And on stage 2, level 3, act 2, level 3, S2 being city, not forest, you could at the very end have a city limits or welcoming sign or something which the player passes on a road out of the forest. I could have that, yeah. Vertical stage, yes. Oh yeah, camera. Maybe change how the camera behaves in that stage. Theoretically I could, but that is a constant throughout the whole game, so I don't know if it would really work. So it smoothly moves vertically, but jumps left and right as it always has done. Maybe, I don't know. That's all theoretical anyway. There's bandstand in the park. Annie. Oh yeah, without a phone, I imagine it's really painful. Yeah, it's like, it's just not fun. I mean, it's bad enough with all of the thousands of verification emails that get sent every time I log into Twitch or YouTube or something. It's like, we've sent an email to verify, please enter this code, and then you've got to open up cPanel and log in and find the email and then copy the code and then paste the code, and then on top of that the laptop isn't very quick with web pages and lags, and then, I mean, that's annoying enough, but then factoring into that to have to arduously get a mobile phone to then turn on and get the signal and then get the thing and then do that, and then it's just really annoying. Thankfully, I've not been exposed to 2FA myself. Although, luckily, with some services and some apps and things like that, you can have multiple accounts logged in at the same time. So if you need to switch between multiple accounts, like for personal stuff or work stuff, then that is useful. I use Authenticator where possible as it's quicker, but FF, a Fellows film, defaults to email, which takes forever to send, but I might as well wait as I know it's sent. Oh, streaming TRS-19 on the laptop would not be fun. Sitcom shudders. Sitcom shudders. Anything by email just irritates me. With Emichu it's PDFs, with you it's email. Oh. email.pdf. The perfect combination. I actually just need to make sure these trees are all on the correct side of the wall. No, that's not a post-war Germany reference. Why would I even make such a reference? That wouldn't be funny. Well, not unless it's told well. MHU's PDF stuff is silly though. Although, I mean, to be fair, if your computer basically wouldn't read PDFs for some weird reason, then you wouldn't like using them either, would you? Ultimate final boss. The email.pdf, you mean? What do you mean they can't open it? Anyone in browser can do it. Well, that's what MHU said, is that when they get emails, sometimes their computer opens it, sometimes it just doesn't open it, and they've got to... It's a big hassle for them to open PDFs, to view them, which I was really very surprised by as well, because, again, like you say, any modern browser should be able to open PDFs without issue. I mean, on macOS, it's even simpler because the preview app on macOS, which is used as an image viewing application, and also basically, like, you can view images, you can also put in like shapes, do rudimentary editing stuff in that as well. That also allows you to view PDFs as well as put text in them and signatures and stuff like that. So, and that just comes default with macOS. So, but email I've always found so unreliable. Has it sent properly? Has it delivered properly? And it's so slow. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I do find a bit annoying about communicating by emails is when people have turned junk mail filtering on, and then it's sometimes happened that I don't know whether my email actually got through or got filtered as junk, or what's going on with that, and then you wait around, you wait and wait and wait and wait, and then you send another email, and then you're not sure if that one's arrived or not, and then as it turns out, they just didn't answer for a while because they were a bit lazy. Is that better, or is it better as grass? No, I think that's better. For some of this at least. To think that parks are basically just reconstructions of landscapes that humanity as a species grew up around in Africa to make us feel more at home. Yeah, because, I mean, when people buy, like, the most expensive flats where you can live at in a city are overlooking parks. Why? Because, well, parks, green spaces, water features are pleasant to us. Again, why? Well, because that's where humanity grew up around. Like, that's that environment. So, of course, it makes sense that that's like our natural environment. That we'd feel at ease there, seeing the color green. Um, yeah, but it can read PDFs. Germany needs tech support. Yes. Customer support tagline. It's all in the emails. As someone with MS 365, I always use PDF anyway. Suggestion. Downtown... What? Segestino. Downtown Becken. Parking the... Parking the... Wait. That's not what I meant. Oh, yes, sure it is. For a long time, I got important emails in junk and couldn't figure out how to move it. Yep. This happened to me today. In the end, it fixed itself, but it annoyed me. Sent an email, other individual had it auto-sorted to junk mail, and thought I never sent it. Yeah, and the thing is, sometimes, like, even if it's someone that you've communicated with for... like, that you've communicated with a lot, you still sometimes just randomly get stuff sorted as junk mail, even though that email address has... you've personally written to that email address many times, you've received emails from that email address many times. It sometimes still gets sorted as junk. Of course, it depends on what service you use as well and how much control that service gives you over things like that. I think that looks a little bit better. Kind of a mixture of the two colors, at least for this bit. Over here as well, maybe a little bit. And some of the more open areas. Right. Unconvinced about the brown ground. I suppose if it had more bush and stuff, it may fit better. Well, it's mostly supposed to be like fallen branches and old leaves and kind of podzol, basically, which does exist even in small woodlands like that. Sure, you do know the word podzol? Hold on. Yeah, it's the ground layer of basically fallen twigs and branches and leaves and stuff like that. Typically soils of coniferous and boreal forests. Yeah, that's the typical, yes. If I just look for forest floor, yeah, well, these are just leaves, but I meant more specifically I can't find an image. Yeah, like this, basically. Like that. Here, this is a perfect image. That's what I meant. This kind of stuff. Where not much grows because of low light and thick soil. Well, thick root systems, but... a bench! Maybe. Down a bench. Yeah, probably. I know, pod shawl. That thing. Soil a bit. Yeah, twigs. I getcha. Of course. Who's ever heard of a benchless park? Me. I've not heard good things about it, but I have heard about it. Sometimes benches are put in the most random places. Well, sometimes when the bench was put there, there was a view, but then trees and other greens like bushes and things grew around it and then obscured the view that the bench was placed there for. And then aren't in places they should be. Oh no! It could be that dreaded junk mail spam filter has ruined friendships too. If one individual, after years of no communication, writes to the other to meet up together, the other responds and agrees to it. A day later, two before the meeting, she says she can't make it after all. That gets sorted to junk mail. The other shows up and at the agreed time and no one comes. Yeah, if unreliable communication is not that useful. On the bus from Littlehampton to Bognor Regis, there's so much greenery. It's so pretty. Oh. The same thing can be said about most places in Devon. That are in the countryside anyway. Neither of them did anything wrong except for the dastardly defensive algorithm. It just sucks that the road is so congested. I hate it. Devon is known for being pretty though. Yeah, and so is Bognor Regis. Sussex doesn't quite have that. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever been in Sussex. Actually, I want a clock tower. Is this the new asset or is this? No, that's the old one. Where's the new one? Jubilee clock? Huh. What's the new one called? I don't know what the new one's called. You should come visit Slapton Lee. Though last week I was on a little Diddy E200, Enviro 200 probably, going through the Sussex countryside, and it was lovely. There's a bit on the road going, coming into Totnes, coming from Paynton, and where there's such lovely scenery. Like you can look through the hills, through the rolling hills, all the way to Dartmoor, which is like, I don't know, 12, 13 miles or something, I would guess. And you can, from the double-decker bus, if you sit on the top deck, you can look out above the hedges, and you can see just those rolling fields with hedges and woodland and little towns and villages and Dartmoor on the horizon. And it's so beautiful, especially if you go around sunset, because you're facing west, and so you can see the sun setting over Dartmoor with a orange and red light shining through the clouds and the mist rolling in, and it's beautiful. And you can't really see it if you're in a car at all. That's a view that is only for those who take public transport and are on the top deck of the double-decker bus. Pity that most people don't see that view because they're glued to their mobile phone screens on the bus. Anyway, Julie clock. Was such a nippy little good bus too. Should be the same, sure nice. And if I have a clock in the... I don't know. I think it's a DES asset maybe. I was thinking how nice it would be if I owned it and could give you all a little road trip through the country. Haha. Aw, that would be nice. Assuming you knew how to safely operate it. That's a lovely... To Dartmoor, yes. That sounds so pretty. One sec. I need to try all these routes. Yes, you do. I mean, you can try the route going all the way from Poole to Exeter along the coast. That's a good route. Also, there's a great route where it goes from Plymouth over the river into Cornwall and goes down around to two little seaside fishing towns called Kingsend and Corsand. And that route, basically, imagine the Cornwall rough coastline. You've got really tall cliffs with rolling meadows and fields, and a really, really, really windy road going basically right at the edge of the cliff at the top, pretty much without any sort of barrier. And you've got double-decker buses going pretty fast along that on the route every time they go back and forth on that. Now that's an interesting route. If you don't like heights, it might even be a bit frightening. Yeah, that's the view. As you're coming from Penn there, and you look out into the distance. Although I would have said a little bit further on where the curve is, like over here or something. But I see the camera is a bit too low on this vehicle. But in the double-decker bus, you can actually look all over this, and you look all the way to Dartmoor over there. Everything doesn't work, but still. On the A385, yes, I wouldn't drive it without the know-how. You can bus the entire south coast if you wanted, and had all the time in the world and money. It also takes money, trust me. They just upped the prices again. I guess I'm just going to use this asset. They just upped the price of the bus tickets again. It was previously £5 for a day rider in the Torbay area, which goes all the way from Teignmouth down past Torbay to Newton Abbot and Totnes and Dartington. I wonder, where should this be? I guess here's a good place. Is that a good place for it? Yeah, you can see it from pretty far away. I suppose another good place would be here, but there are less paths over here, so having it be over there is good. Yeah, and then it was £5. I think it was cheaper than that before even, but then it went up to £5, and then last year it went up to £5.50, and now it's £6.50. Yeah, cost of living crisis. People are having to stretch their money to go further and further and further and do more things, and yet, anyway, subsidization is needed. It does sound great, but only if you promise to not tab out and text while driving. Yes, I know. All the way from the end of Cornwall to Dover and possibly beyond. Yeah, if the bus misses the edge of the cliff, then yeah, beyond Dover. That's why I've let myself be inspired by it. That's why I've let myself be inspired by it. For my Mumsy 2 map, look up Frethy, Cornwall. That is simply stunning. Very southeastern tip of Cornwall. Okay, I know it's always going up. If you're taking two buses, it might be cheaper to get two £2 singles. True. I mean, the way things are now, if your whole trip, if you only need 3 buses, then singles are even cheaper for that, because, I mean, at that point you'd still be saving 50 pence. I know that doesn't sound like much, but that is half of a pound. Like earlier I was in the bus with someone, and we'd bought two day riders, and we had to pay 1,300 pence just for those 2 tickets. Just to go over to the neighboring town and have the freedom to take buses how we need them to come back. Do you remember the days when you could get a whole loaf of bread for like, I don't know, 2pence, 2 pence, something like that? No, I don't either, but those days exist. Literature assures me of this. Cornwall Cliff Road on the other side of Plymouth, Devon. Let's have a look. Until the end of June. Yeah, I mean, those £2 singles I'm really grateful for. Those are really, really needed. Yeah, there's the road. It gets really quite close to the cliffs. I mean, just look over here. I mean, there's a barrier here now, but I think when we went there was no barrier. Yeah, just look at that. You've just got a few bushes over the side, but there were some spaces further along, I think, where there wasn't, where there isn't any sort of, even no bushes or anything like that. It just, and the cliffs were even closer along back there somewhere. Yeah, I think that's the road going up there, I believe. Yeah, if I just quickly take this guy. Oh, I can't take the guy there. Can I double click? Yeah, this is the spot I meant. Like one of the spots I meant. Look, you've just got the road there, and then look at that cliff going down and down and down and down all the way to the coast down there. And double-decker buses race along here. Well, they don't race, but definitely drive rapidly. End of June. Link don't work. I know it's costing a lot, but extending the £2 bus fare would be amazing. Yes. I mean, just imagine, look at how much money the MPs and the other members of the parliament use just in a month on like expenses, leisure activities. How much they use on parties and fancy foods and all of that stuff. Look at that, and then look at how much people are spending for train tickets or bus tickets across the UK. Or let's just say, okay, across, let's say across UK in an entire year. If you took the majority of that money and used it to subsidize public transport, you could do so much good. You could do so much good, especially with them wanting to get more and more cars off the roads. I think that it would be much more alluring to not drive your car if you could actually afford the public transport. Yeah, and on top of that, they've been cutting buses. Like the bus that goes to Plymouth, they've cut the latest ones, which means that if you want to go to the neighboring town for an evening out or something, and you're coming back at night, now instead of being able to come back at 11, you've got to come back at the latest at 10, or something like that. And then, of course, with buses being a bit unreliable sometimes, usually you've got to take the bus before that, so now you've got to plan to come back at about 9. So going from 10 to 9, that's, I mean, just the neighboring town, which is just a few miles away. It's just ridiculous. Status group, yes. Listen here, mates. If you up the ticket prices, yeah, you'll get more money per fare, but far less people will be buying them. Just crank the price down, more people come. Well, that's true to some extent, but the thing is, the bus prices are already so expensive that people who have another option to travel will pick that other option. People who don't have another option have to pay that increased price. And those people will continue to have to pay that increased price pretty much no matter how expensive it gets. Because for those people, the only other option is to walk. Like, for example, to the neighboring town. But, of course, the road network across most of the world, but especially down here, there are no sidewalks. There are no facilities for you to be able, as a pedestrian, to safely walk to the neighboring town. If you tried it, you're risking your life because you've got to walk on a twisting, winding country road that's only 2 lanes and is quite narrow with cars going on it at about, I would think, maybe 40 miles per hour? Like that, something like that. You're risking your life doing that. So you can't walk, which I'm really not happy about, because being able to walk to another local settlement seems like the sort of thing that should be a human right, like the freedom of movement to be able to actually walk somewhere, which the motorists have taken away almost 100 years ago. Okay, but so that's taken away, so now you basically can't walk. And then, so you've got to take either, and if you don't have enough money for your own car or for taxis, which are ludicrously expensive, your only option is to take the bus. Which means that the people who are already paying those increased fares are going to continue to pay those increased fares because they have no other option. They just have to cut back on other things that they're paying for, like heating and like food. So, yeah, go on, increase that. Make it more, like, yeah, increase it by another £1. Great idea. If you couldn't tell, I wasn't being sincere in that last statement. Well, those last 2 statements, aside from this statement and the previous statement. Anyway, that's a little bit of a rant. In Brighton, I think 2 buses is the most you'd get, less than a day ticket. On the app, kids get a much larger discount on tickets than adults. Pennies. Not the Inspector Gadget kind either. Ha! We're fortunate that the South Downs government funds companies to accept a Discovery ticket, which lets you go all through Sussex, Kent, Surrey, and parts of Hampshire for £9 adult. That seems like a good deal. Which sounds like a lot, but for 4 counties, for 4 countries, that's incredible. £9 through 4 counties. Yes. Pretty goes. Of course. Yeah, that is freely. And double-decker buses race along here. Well, they don't race, but they do drive recklessly. No! Oh, don't get me started on MPs. Yeah, let's not. Cough, the PM upgrading his local grid for his heated pool. Yeah. This is a happy stream. Well, it was a happy stream. Disgusting behavior. Yeah, I could not agree more. And please bring back trolley buses. Yes. Well, actually, if you're gonna go with overhead electrified public transport, go with trams. I mean, trolley buses are useful because they can weave in and out of traffic like they can change lanes basically. But I prefer trams personally. Yes, please, 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 can we reduce the number of cars on the road? It's awful. We're lucky in Brighton that buses are reliable here. Stagecoach here have become awfully reliable on the 700. Good. Latest gold comes back at 9. Oh, at 9! It was at 9. Ah, well, there you go then. I get the crazy diversion isn't helping, but half of them aren't turning up. Oh, the stagecoach here have become awfully unreliable, you mean? Ah, yeah. Not only did they cut the latest ones, but they changed the route to completely miss Bridgetown. Yeah. Yeah. They just completely abandoned an entire community of people who previously relied on the bus for decades, along with cutting the later buses. And of course now upping the ticket price. Windy Road, yeah. Sure is, well, yeah, but if bus fares were proper cheap, even folks with an alternative options may choose the bus either way. Petrol's sure to be more expensive than that, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Maybe place cycle lane signs? Nah, it's too much detail. I don't want to put that much time here. Countries. I wish it were £9 for 4 countries. Yeah, that would be great. Brighton has 2 old tram stops left over. Unfortunately, they're undesirable now. Always graffitied, dirty glass smashed. Oh. Anyway, I think I'll place a couple more benches here along this path. And then we'll have a look and see how this looks. Maybe I can place a toilets building as well. Also, let's just place a bench, just a single bench, up here on this hill overlooking the lake. Just so if you're up here eating apples, you can actually sit down on the bench as well to have a look. If you don't like sitting on the grass, but you can of course also sit on the grass if you prefer that, or if the bench is occupied. Actually, let me pull the bench a little bit further back. Oh, come on. Torquay has some too. Painting too. You mean old tram stops, yeah. See, elsewhere, Granite Afro. Yeah, they do look nice. And with them being artificial, yes. However, with the hills being natural in this little spot, that wouldn't really work for me. The old Stein, as in stone, Stein does have a bunch of them which are more solid, but they're of a similar fate. It's a man-made park after all. Are you certain? Maybe it's a citation-made park. Have you thought about that? Okay, I think that's enough benches. Old Stein one. Let's have a look. It does look nice. And the other one. Oh, that looks so nice there. Even if it's got graffiti and smashed in glass and stuff like that. I do like that structure. Maybe. One of them was painted all pretty, but they removed it. The paint or the stop? Citation? No, hold on. Is that the word? Is that the spelling? I don't think that's citation. One second. No, not no. Hold on. Oh, how's it spelled? 1 second. Citations. Like that. Citations. There we go. That's what I meant. Maybe it was built by citations. Or maybe it's a relatively small piece of land that was never proper touched before, bar the paths. Well, then the hills wouldn't make sense. Not really. Haha. We say Steen, not Stein, down here. But yeah. Well, I mean, the German word Stein... I mean, Stein, that's what it comes from. I would assume. But yeah, I mean, whatever the locals call it. Steen. But yeah, it does come from the German word for stone, as you quite rightly pointed out. The paint. Ah, they removed the paint, I see. Beautiful pics. The name comes from the sarsen stones, which used to be in the area. Whales and stuff. Yeah. Crustaceans. No, not crustaceans. So, did you think I meant a citation, as in a literacy, the literacy thing, the bibliographies, a bibliographic citation? Is that what you thought I meant? Stone, yes. Stein. Yeah, it does, and really we should say it as you did. I mean, by that, yeah, true, but, I mean, the thing is, if you want to preserve the historical context, then yes. But it is an English place, so even if it is named using a German word, then pronouncing it in an English way is still right. Like, for example, with Birmingham. You've got Birmingham, which is in England, and then you've got Birmingham, which is the city in the US. If the people in the US called their city Birmingham, then you'd have no idea which one you're talking about. Yeah, I did, Paradise. I was confused, to say the least. Just blare their TTS Google Translate of Stein and Stone over speakers saying which is right and wrong. Well, the US people are silly. Oh, sorry. Well, the us people are silly. Don't you mean, well, us? I think you... I don't think you meant to write the in there. Well, us people are silly. Yes, that is a sentiment that I agree with. Although other words that come from the other words that are anglicized are pronounced in the original way in English as well. Like, for example, the German word kaputt, which is German for broken, is still pronounced that way in English. It's not kaput, it's kaput. Anyway, I'm quite happy with the park this way. I might add a few more details around. Like, actually, hold on. I may want some date palms as well. Just to kind of emphasize that it is actually a really quite hot environment here. Just in that little area, and then what would it look like having a few over here? That might work. Maybe just a few along there. Yeah, I like that. Beef came from the French bœuf, or something similar, didn't it? I know that, for example, beef or pork were the words used by nobility, and I do think that they derived from French words, well, Germanic words. It may be French, I don't know about that. Could easily be French. And the peasants, the farmers, the people of the land who actually dealt with the animals, dealt with the animals alive, they used either the native Brittonic words or words deriving from those native Brittonic words, which are similar to pig or cow. I think for pig it was peak or pig, or with a C or something like that. Similar to that, something similar to that. And then when they were selling their goods to the wealthy people, to the nobility and so on, they used to use the fancy words, the words they used, which then led to beef or pork or something like that. I believe that that's how that went. Those need to be a bit taller. Although having buildings of this size over here might work. Although I'm not sure that I want ones that are this run down looking. I mean, these are mainly fine, but it's just the low quality of the textures that makes them look a little bit run down. No, I think I'll place them manually. But yeah, I honestly don't know too much about that. I know what I said just now, but beyond that, you look it up. I don't know more details. Okay, now what about the road? I don't think that I actually need to put a road back there, because although, okay, I am going to very quickly put a road back here, because, not because I think that you're actually realistically going to see it when you're driving a train, because you're not. However, I did put detail into the park, and so players are likely going to explore with a free cam, and then it is good to have at least a road back here, even if it's not that detailed. Right. Kaput, sometimes pronounced as kaput in English, is it? Or American English? Unturn that lake texture. Yeah, that's right. I do need to still add that. Ooh, actually, I'll probably have this carry on straight to about there, and then have the interurban tracks branch off to portals over here. Mud over... Yeah. Is the mud overgrown texture, isn't that... Like, what's the resolution on that? Isn't that a bit low res? I was thinking maybe some of the textures that I'd used on the river going to New Southport. Quite blurry, but realistically, the park water would blur the ground beneath, no? Well, yeah, well, the texture isn't just going to be underwater, it's also going to be on the shore. Oh, that reminds me, I wanted to see if there are good toilet assets that I can place in the park. Need to attract those people. And by those people, I of course mean just people in general. Or I suppose the ones that need to go to the toilet. I was watching an interesting documentary the other day about Mesolithic Mesolithic civilization, basically. So tools and art they made and things like that, and where they lived, and it was also partly about the Sahara and things like that. It was very interesting. And in case you're curious, I believe it's the Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic, because Meso means in the middle of, lithic means stone, so Paleolithic is the old Stone Age, Mesolithic is the middle Stone Age, or yeah, and then Neolithic, neo meaning new, means the new Stone Age. Like, for example, Mesopotamia, meaning between rivers, or the land between rivers. Because Potamia meaning rivers, like hippopotamus. Hippo means horse, and potamus, river. Mesopotamia, hippopotamus, the same root. See, that's why you come to these streams, isn't it? The educational content? Okay. Oh, of course. Good. Now, what should I do here? Because... This road is going on this angle. I mean, it's got this distance, there's a margin between the park and the road. And... I mean, realistically, this would just carry on straight with the block grids and all that stuff. However, then I've got this gap between the road and the park, which in this highly dense area would likely not be wasted. I could put buildings there, but I don't really want to obstruct the view too much along there. Although maybe that'd be okay, I don't know. Or maybe parking. Maybe this could just be parking all the way back there. Not just for the park, but for the buildings, like the offices and shops and all that sort of stuff around here as well, and the station, of course. I think parking's good in this space. I love learning with you. A unique insight and it's fun. Aw, thank you. I've also heard Capitoline comes from kaput slash kaput, that's the same word, which means human skull. Ah, so the Capitoline Hill in Rome, Italy, actually translates to a hill of human skulls. Kaput. Okay. Could you link some dictionary or what's the word I'm looking for? Could you give me citations? No, not citations. That's the one. Capital line. Oh, capital line. I read it as Capitoline. As you can probably tell by the way I read it. That is interesting, though. Okay, so that's probably a good angle. Also, Albastro, when... So in Stone Age times, I'm not sure which Stone Age specifically, one of them. Well, maybe multiple of them. Before the island of Great Britain, or Albion, before Albion got separated from the European mainland, the area that, if you're looking out onto the ocean from over the channel, basically, then all of that was actually just a huge low-lying valley. And so, of course, Stone Age people lived there. They had animals there, they built camps, they made tools, and they lived there. And that's why you get a lot of Stone Age finds from the ocean, from the channel, from under the channel. There was a not expedition, a what is it called? They were looking at, I believe, it's been a while since I've read this, but they were looking at, I believe, shipwrecks, like, I think Roman or medieval shipwrecks or something in the Channel Tunnel, and they were diving, and they found Stone Age arrowheads and axe heads and things like that. And it's quite interesting to think that when the next time when you're looking out over the ocean, just imagine that that's actually all just a low-lying valley full of green grasses and little patches of forest looking out all the way over to France. I wonder if the kaput has any links to Pachacuti, who was well known for using people's skulls as cups. I don't know. I believe I've once heard about it in a documentary about Rome. Oh, it does seem likely. Oh, him. Yikes. Is that... I mean... if he's a... so if he was... if he was king of the Inca, then culturally, and thus also linguistically, that would have been isolated from Europe. And since a lot of words can be traced back to the word caput, or Latin relatives as well, as Kango said, then that root word must have been much older than when contact was made with the Inca. Well, Western contact was made with the Inca. I would assume. I don't know. It could be that at the beginning of the Renaissance, which by the way means rebirth, Naissance means birth, and re means again. So Renaissance means rebirth. So it could be that linguistics just changed that quickly, but I highly doubt it. I don't have any of the evidence of when certain words were used in literature, like caput or root words from it. But it seems like it would be much older than the beginning of the Renaissance. I think in this case it's probably just a coincidence, would be my guess. I believe I've once heard about it. Right, yes. Yikes. Yeah, that's true. But an interesting coincidence, though. Yeah, definitely. If it is one. The article does actually say the word's meaning, but I haven't read it. Oh, does it? Part of the ruins of Pachacuti's? I hope I'm pronouncing that somewhat right. Pachacuti's palace in Cusco. That looks like the foundations of a Minecraft house with a resource pack, and that adds like photorealistic textures and normals to the blocks. Anyway, back to building the route. I don't want to put too much time in making this intersection because, again, the whole reason why I'm even adding roads back here in the first place is because, well, if you're using the free camera to explore the park, then you're probably also going to look back here and it'd be a little... it wouldn't be great. I mean, people would probably understand that I wouldn't put a road back there, but it would break the immersion more than is necessary if I didn't. So there we go. Let's just paint along here to connect these. Now I need to bring out the tracks. Wahahahahaha. The ultimate blow to the noggin. It does. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing that I'm really looking forward to when we switch back to vanilla, which is when we, I mean, so when we were still playing vanilla, we had of course used the resource pack, but then when we switched to modded, we stopped using the resource pack because, well, resource packs, because, well, the most resource packs don't have modded textures for other blocks. And so having, like, for example, some of the ores, if you have a texture that replaces the normal stone, like the smooth stone, with a different texture, and then you've got modded ores that have like the vanilla smooth stone texture with the ore bits set into it, that doesn't that doesn't look quite right. That doesn't feel good to play in. So that's why we stopped using resource packs. But then when we're going to go back to vanilla, the plan is to use a resource pack again, but not the one that we were using before. Even though it's beautiful, the plan is to use a different resource pack, which will again give a whole fresh new feeling to, well, to the whole Minecraft world, to be honest. Plus going to the new location and starting again and finding, like, building everything up from that point. That I'm really looking forward to that. Even though it's going to be on the same world, we will still have all that heritage back at the old place. We might still return to it. In fact, I'm quite certain that we will return to the old place again for resources, or to get stuff, or things like that, if and when we need to, or to maybe connect the two or something. I'm sure we will return to that as well, but I'm just really looking forward to that, basically. I pulled a door too, and the squeak made the generic calling of an animal whistle sound. To Pachacuti. You want to use my skull as a drinking cup? Well, the foundations of your palace look like the foundations of a Minecraft house with a horribly high definition resource pack. So there. Pachacuti. Not Pach... What? Pachacuti. Do you know what you mean? Or is Pachacuti? Pachacuti? Don't know what you mean. But you Jorch. No. Jorch. That's an odd word. I wonder if the Animaniacs ever made fun of Pachacuti. If not, they should have. Pachacuti, haha. Aw, you cutie. I'll admit, though, that the initial typo was intentional. Shredder's I had accidentally misspelled that as... Oh, right, yeah. Cutie, yeah. As in cutie. Oh, right, I didn't spot that. Oh, we do not have long left in this stream. Nowadays, a lot of this land would probably be used for other buildings, with parking being done in multi-story parking garages. However, back in the 60s, this is probably still a remnant of older days. Plus, it allows for good views. Should save, yeah, good. Maybe a small little lookout tower somewhere in the park on a hill. Multi-bedtime story? What? Multi-bedtime story? What do you mean? Save! Yeah. What do you mean multi-bedtime story? Oh, you mean multi-story parking house thing? Or multi-story? Ah, I see. I need a little bit more of this texture mixed in. Just to brighten up some of these spots to make it more uniform with the other area. And then I'll use a bit of this texture to highlight where the entrance is, even though, well, actually no, that does make a bit of sense. There we go. And then I'll put the bushes along it as well. Actually, I'll place them first. Lookout tower. There may be one near the end of the currently active pick list, yellow, red one. I can have a look. Now, as we're getting further away, like from the station, I think I only need the bushes in more, well, in greater distances because of viewing angle. See, as you're looking down that way, it looks like they're all bunched up together, even though the bushes here are much more densely packed than over here. And that does save on resources as well a bit, although it's probably negligible. Although I guess it does depend on which assets specifically you're using. I'll have to move that bush that's on the road. Although I will place one, well, two more there, just to, again, emphasize that gap, although you can't really see it from here. Actually, I'll have a look at the lookout tower. Do you remember what the lookout tower is called? Yeah, I'm not convinced about the lookout tower in the first place, although I might place a few of these parasol. Oh right, that reminds me, I wanted to look for toilets. Sure, why not? I think that would be something near the entrance, like over here. Right by the bend. No. Although, I think having a little bit of a distance here might be nice. Like that. Zoom in. I wanted you to see if you could find it in the list just from the name you know. Sure, let's have a look. Again, I can't see if you can actually see this or not. I'm just gonna start here. I'm going to slowly move mouse pointer up, which should hopefully give you enough time to look at this because I can't see chat currently. And then I'll scroll up. And we've gone past midnight. I need to get a thumbnail. Is it this one, Watchtower? There we go. I want to see, yes, just a minute, yes. Oh, haha, thanks. Hold on. And just like that, it's Fun Friday. RCN Chef 1? Is that? RCN, is that not, like, yeah, that's a guy. Actually, oh, come on. Is it, wait, is this building that large? This building may be a bit large. All that guy is just small. So it's like, oh, come on out of there. My food wasn't that bad. Come on. You're just faking it. This insurance scam won't work. I mean, or the guy is just small, because if I place him next to the bench, I don't know. Let's have a look at another people person. No, it does look like the building is just really quite large. Although that doesn't look good. It looks like it's, I prefer not having the guy there. Actually, no. I will tell you what. I'll just ignore the size difference. I'll just ignore it. Just ignore it. Because you don't really notice it from back here. And even if you're looking through, the only way you might notice it is... I like the Easter egg of the guy there talking with someone inside. Actually, hold on. Hold on. No, never mind. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, I like that Easter egg, but yeah, the size is a little off. Doesn't matter much. Remote control chef. Never mind. Also, top part of the list isn't on there. Never mind. It's not up there. Oh, that one. It was a yellow wooden one too, with red roof. Don't know which one you mean, sorry. Also, I'm not really sure that I want this asset over here. Like, because if I put it up in the woods here, then... I don't know. I guess maybe. There you go. 1 second. Nah, it's too late. I don't want to search now. Sync the no. The toilet's modern anyway. No, it's good. Oh, this guy. Looks the people person 7. No, a prisoner. People prisoner. No, it's not a prisoner. Look. I mean, I'll probably place some sort of food stalls over here as well. So clearly someone's just had something to eat there and is now having bowel issues. And so he's in the toilet, and this guy's arguing with him, telling him that he's scamming because his food's actually good. Anyway, time for a screenshot. Well, I mean, it would be ideally I'd like to have a bit more skyline back there, but this does look quite nice. Oh, I didn't paint the ground yet for the lake. That's something I'll have to do next time. Ooh, although... something like that might work quite nicely. Yeah, I think that'll be the thumbnail probably. Although, you can't really see much of the actual park greenery, even though as a photo it looks great. As a thumbnail, you can't really see much progress. Unfortunately. Maybe just something like that would be better. Apple trees? Oh, we can have a look. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, the hills, of course, do look nice. Do look nice. Do look nice. Do look nice. The perfect place. I mean, that is a great view like this, but I'm not sure that it's that great for a thumbnail. Can't really recognize it as a bench. Plus, there's no cityscape back here yet. Yeah, one of those is probably going to be good. Anyway, I'll save again. Next time we're going to finish the park, so by that I mean paint underneath the lake, add in maybe some food shops, stalls, some stuff like that. Then we're going to build the skyline around the edge, basically just along here, along there, and then coming back over here. And then if there's time, we'll also build scenery along this bit, meeting up over here, basically. So yeah, the area we still need to finish is getting less and less. Oh, actually, yeah, that's... one second. I will very quickly, just very quickly attach the portals, because I will forget about that otherwise. Just 1 moment. Yeah. There we go, save. Yes, good. Alright, then Bivess, Shadice, and Kango. I'll catch you all in just under 20 hours. Thank you for the company this evening. I really enjoyed it. Aw, you're welcome. Duloc. Yes, I know Duloc. Could also read it as, alright then, BFFs, Shadice, and Kango. True. Anyway, thank you all for being here. This stream will of course be archived on YouTube. And good night. Bye-bye.